Hi, everyone. It's Angel. How are you? We are live today at the Driscoll Hotel, the most haunted hotel in Texas. This place is outstanding. It's already messing with my head. It's incredible. But that's okay because you know what? It's going to be fun. In fact, tonight, if you're on Instagram with me, you can actually watch the live paranormal work that I'm going to be doing here at the Driscoll. We're going to be doing some pendulum work. We're going to be doing some spirit box work. We're going to do a lot of different things to see if we can bring some spirits through, because this is what I do when I go traveling. I actually find some of the most haunted hotels and haunted places to hang out. But right now, I am doing the Creature Code podcast for Monday, and we are on UPRN Paranormal Radio, and we are on the 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 in one of my favorite cities, New Orleans, which I just came in from. Literally, we finished the Paracon last month. You all know we did our speakers for the Paracon, and it was just a raving success. I met some of the most incredible people. Jennifer was on our show, Jennifer Talley and Chris, they put it together. And then I got to meet Father Sebastian, one of the most internationally renowned fangsmiths. I also got to meet Patty Negri. She's going to be on the show, and I'm going to be on her show. So excited. So it was a wonderful month. Thank you for being a part of that and helping promote that show. And now, Conjure Camp, end of August, the last week of August in and around the Niagara area, we have Conjure Camp. It is a voodoo camp, and we have all of these incredible people who come together. Witch Doctor Utu, Kat Tegard, and our guest today, John Corvus. He is going to be coming on our show today to talk about animal symbolism and, you know what, whatever else. This guy is an encyclopedia of esoteric knowledge. I mean, he is one of my favorite people. He's so cool. So without ado, I am on my phone today, so that's why it's vertical. If things should go a little wonky, I'm just going to let myself out, bring myself back in, and then everything should rectify itself. But I think everybody can see us and hear us. And if there are any issues, let me know. Okay, there we go. Hi, John. How are you?
Good. I'm a little blushy now. Thank you for such a big one.
I'm so excited to well, I'm so excited to have you here. So I remember when I first met you, that first evening, we were sitting around the fire. You probably don't remember this. And we were all talking and we were having a really nice evening. And Utu had said something about animal symbolism, because I'm an animal communicator and we're talking about animals. And then you piped up and you were talking about the animal we were talking about, and it put me to shame. I'm like, dude, I know nothing about this. Is awesome. And I could just listen to you forever. Heidi says, good day, John, and much love from Boulder, Colorado. Good. Our audio and video is good. Yeah, we get people from all over. It's amazing. So even people who don't comment, we get people from India, from France, from Belgium. It's incredible, our listener base and our viewership. It's just UPRN is phenomenal that way. So John, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us who you are. How did you get into this magical world that you and I are so privileged to live in?
we are privileged people in the sense. It's a blended piece. So let's give the synopsis. What I do is because not only is it in my blood, and I don't say that lightly. I didn't know how much I was connected until much later when I was researching my lineage, and that's one of my paths became that being. So my formative years, going up there, my mother actually gave me a little thing from grade 3 of these pencil drawings with the weird when you're learning to properly print and so
Mhm.
forth, you're starting cursive, and I have tarot card stuff on there with these little pencil things from grade 3 that I got from the encyclopedia uh, series at a library that I was at, and it was kind of interesting. So it's in the blood. I've always been interested um, in it, and then my formative time when I went to Europe, I met 3 important teachers, and one of them was of my blood faith, which is Rromani,
Mhm.
Wayfarership, and so forth. Not necessarily Christianized Rromani
Mhm.
spirituality, which is also part of uh, my heritage and my passions now, because right behind me, which you can't see on radio, but behind me, I swear to you, is the Shrine to Sally Sarah Hamilton uh, there for it. So there is the Judeo-Christian vibe that comes through the mysteries, but it also has to do with an Indian subcontinent vibe. And everywhere you travel in between picks
Mhm.
something up. So, like that Wayfarer ship that I took, I also picked up things. I picked up things from the second teacher, which was a Chan Buddhist monk that I met while hitchhiking there in Europe. So I started having this crises of what should I do? Choose your own adventure. And I chose
Right.
one for a while and I chose the other for a bit afterwards. I don't leave things halfway. So I became a Chan Buddhist practitioner mainly for a while. And I went through the first 3 precepts. I was going to be a monk. Uh, but then I met my wife. But I always had the other two in my background. One of them is by read, because my teacher for tarot, my first one was Julian of Norwich, which I met in Scotland, and got me on tarot cards. So not my great aunt, who's known for card reading in Quebec, which I didn't know
No.
until I researched later on. She even has a plaque in outside of Quebec City proper.
Wow.
Talk to her, right? I never knew this. I found out about maybe 6 years ago that part. But yeah, she was really well known as a card reader, but I wasn't taught by her. I was taught by this
Yeah, yeah,
Scottish.
yeah.
And then I became a beta tester for US Games in the 90s for tarot cards, which
Come
got me.
on, that's cool. That's a
So
cool
I have
gig.
a lot of tarot cards that have never seen the light of day. And I've been,
Wow.
because of contractual obligations, I had to hold on to them for 20 years. So I've been slowly giving them away. I started doing a thing called DTAP, which is
Mm.
Divination Tools Adoption Program. So I would take people's divination tools, and yes, Ouija board I also took, because there's many things about that too. But so I had a stack of like 6
Yet
or 8.
there's another episode we can do with you. We're already talking about all the episodes we can do with John, because like the altars he has are
Oh,
amazing, and he knows so much about that. So that is definitely going to be an episode. So stay tuned,
you're
people. Continue.
you're inflating my already slightly inflated ego. I got you.
Your wife is turning going, don't do this to me. Don't
Yeah.
do this to me. Uh-oh. Okay, we've kind of froze a little bit, and we all know that this is kind of one thing that can happen with
There's two
us.
amazing kids.
Oh, there we go. He's back. He's back. Okay, we
Yay.
dropped you for a little bit.
I'm done. It's okay. Uh, wife, 2 amazing kids. I was just saying that, before we got cut off, that
Mm.
my wife will be paying the price of being inflated in this podcast. But
Oh
yeah,
God, that's too funny.
no, but
Okay.
I do actually remember by the fire we were talking about different animals
Mm-hmm.
regarding it, and
Yeah.
it's because I really started with Joseph Campbell early on, before we had better people talking about learning about mythologies and stories and cultures and so forth. But I was a Campbellite, for it. I went to Mythic Journeys in Atlanta, Georgia. Atlantic, Georgia, for the conference every couple of years. They would have one. I even have the Big Myth CD, DVD, ROM type of thing that
Oh,
you put in
cool.
the computer back in the day before we had all of our DVDs there. So,
Oh, yeah, like the floppy drive deal. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I remember
Yeah.
that.
So I still have those. I did talks from my high school all the way up to now. So it's been
Wow.
30 years of lecturing on different types of practices that some say occult. I call them more cultural and current vibe, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I do. Actually, funny enough, that's what I call them when I look at whether it's the witches or the vampires or werewolves or Buddhist or whatever it might be. They're all cultures to me,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what I call them. So that's really cool that you call them that too. And I think that is a correct term. That
Max,
feels right
yeah.
for me.
Yeah, Max Ellen from he was one of the founders and curators of the Textile Museum of Canada. He did a
Hmm.
whole exhibit on the color black and the different meanings of black from purity
Oh,
to wickedness and all that type of thing for it. But he would call goth and vampire and all that type of thing style tribes, not
hmm.
meaning, but you call them style tribes, like mods or style tribe. There's a certain culture, certain language,
Right.
lingo that goes with it, a certain knowledge base that you have to
Yeah.
elevate to, all these pieces. And he always loved that we talked about Eastern Gothic, right? In the
Right.
sense of a style tribe, a clothing thing, which I sometimes wear things that are that
Yeah.
way. So
Yeah, and I think that's really important to define it, right? So, and I love that you know all of these things. So, where animals are concerned, what is it that drew you to working with the symbolisms and mythologies of animals that you are so learned in them?
when I was traveling around, I growing up was kind of weird because I'm a base brat, right? So we would go
Oh,
around from one place to another when I was really young. But things like understanding how animal interactions are, what we find ferocious or threatening, might not be. Might not be the way. It might be the way that we communicate. We see wolves and bears and all these other animals that play fight in the
right.
same way, and that is totally and completely fine in their culture in that sense.
Yeah.
But the play fighting that we are struggling with now from the 70s, which is where I was doing my formative years, to now, the whole role of play fighting in our culture has deviated
Hmm.
to it, that it's offensive, right?
Yeah.
But this is the study of animals has always been with me throughout my early years to now.
Would you say
Um,
that the study of animals is the study of self?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the interconnectedness of being, right?
Hmm.
So we're a web, not a life cycle. It's a life web, right? And
Hmm.
the intricacies of how we interact with our environment, whether it's with the standing folk, trees,
Yeah.
for it, or the ones that stand the test of time, which are stones and things of that nature, and of course our kith and kins, right? Are animals, uh, and not only just familiars, even though we do get a lot of ideas of that too.
What is a
Um,
familiar for those of you who are hearing that for the first time? For you, can you define what a familiar is?
depends on the culture, but let's go. Let's
Yes.
go. Just
Let's make it easy and
traditional,
relatable. Let's make
yeah,
it easy and
traditional
relatable.
woo woo.
Yeah.
A familiar
Yeah.
is
Well, no. I don't want to go to necessarily tradition. Show. All right. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do traditional woo woo,
yeah.
and then what you and I would define it as. Let's do that. No,
um,
that's interesting. I
yeah,
like that.
that's what I
Let's
mean.
do
So
traditional woo woo, and then
let's
let's go there. Yeah. Let's
yeah.
start there.
A familiar for a lot of people, outsiders especially,
Yeah.
was the intermediary between a spirit and a human through a pleasant or not so pleasant animal. So, in many cultures, in order to bridge that gap between the unknown or the animal world and the human mundane world, not the human dynamic world, which a lot of us love.
Hmm.
I love you too, Christy. Uh, it's other comment.
We all love you, Christy.
Yeah. um, but that way of saying that we have ownership and something can have a negative aspect, especially to a magical principle,
Okay.
is a familiar. The way that we have a dominance and a way over an animal is also the way that some people think of familiar is. That
So
it's a
it's not,
symbol.
so in other words, like a familiar is something we have dominance over in that they work for us. So basically, a witch has a familiar, the familiar goes out. Marie Laveau, right, had her snake, and that snake would go out and do her bidding. So we are dominant over them. Is that where you're going? Is that what you mean?
That's where some people go with
Yeah.
that, which it's not as people that actually look at spirits and actually work with spirits and animals and so forth. That's not often the case. There's a relationship that comes in there. There's a
Right.
communication style that comes with it.
Yes.
And
And I think
sometimes,
that's so true because the younger generations think, oh, if I have a familiar, this is how I work with them, not realizing. And that's actually something I was teaching this weekend. And you saw a lot of light bulbs go off is creating relationships with spirit, creating relationships with those animals who have crossed over. But in this case, as we're speaking of familiars.
yeah,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
when I pop culture people, because I like trying to put people into a mass media idea of how to they can sort of take the steps to relate. When we look at the series that was done, his Dark Materials, the way that they have daemons or demons
Mhm.
in it, and the opposite animal of your soul is now right beside you as a demon or a daemon. So
Huh.
Pan and Lyra in those books, Lyra's female has a daemon that's male that is trying to figure out its path, its certainty, right? And there's a whole bunch of other Christian things put into it, but think of the way I think about it and the way I've read and talked to people at the Parliament of the World Religions. I was blessed to meet so many people. One of them was a Shinto priest.
Mm.
And the way that we talk about kami and talk about animal familiars is more broad. We
Mhm.
like to say that there are
Well,
animals that
look at what Chris, yeah, but look at what Christy is saying. I always thought my animal familiar was my protector,
which
right?
it
So
is
that
too.
is, yeah,
Yeah,
I was just going to say that is an aspect of what familiars can do for you,
yeah,
right? And so we look at the aspects and individualize what familiar can do rather than seeing that overall larger picture and going deeper into what a familiar is. And I think that's what we do. We scratch the surface.
right.
But is there knowledge out there? Like, who do you see? You and I, we're very lucky, right? We have teachers, we have those people that we know, we have that tribe. But like you said, it's a very those are on the in. But there are more and more people who are interested in finding this out. So number one, obviously, we have podcasts like this. But where do you think where can people go and get that information? Because they want to learn. I want them to go deeper into animal familiars and understand them fully. Oh, good Lord. It actually hung again, people. So we're just gonna have to wait a second for John to
It's
catch up.
okay.
Oh, there
I
we are.
got you.
There we are. There you are. All right. So as I was saying,
I got you. So we're talking about, we're talking about resources that people
yeah,
can start really tapping into. Well,
yeah.
remember two of my mentors, one of them was Buddhist, one of them was not. But both of them had a very similar quote, which is 10,000 books can never equate to a third-rate teacher, right? So you're going to get some pretty poor teachers, but they're interactive. And your friends are the ones that also call you out on your crap too, right? So those are two great resources right there. The ones that question you make you go deeper, or they
I agree
frustrate
with
you and
that.
you stomp your feet and say, I quit. But usually I go the other way, right? I
Yeah,
want to go deeper. Really? You don't think that? Well, let me show you. Let
yeah.
me, and have that debate, that healthy debate, instead of the cancer culture debates, the healthy
That's
debate.
that's coyote medicine, right?
Yeah.
Coyote medicine says, okay, you want to do this? All right, let's do this, right? You're getting,
I have a coyote
let's see how
vertebrae.
serious you are.
I have coyote vertebrae in my trickster area that I work with the magic.
I,
So I'm actually
I
literally
actually,
staring at it.
yeah, I actually keep Coyote behind me in my office to remind me, do you really want to do this, Angel? Do you really want to do this? Is this where
Yeah.
you want to go? Right. So I get it. Coyote's quite powerful, I find. I
Resources.
I I've worked, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, see, that's actually what I was going to say is I think for me too, some of the best resources are the animals themselves, not just the physical animals, but journeying. I think
Yeah.
journeying with animals and animal spirits and animal symbolism is really important. I mean, there are times when I wake up in the morning and before I open my eyes, I will ask, what animal do I need today? What do I need? And the animal will come and I'll go, okay, well, why are you here? And we'll go deep into that conversation. I had one time I needed bear, and I'm like, why the hell do I need bear? And as the day unfolded, I realized that, yeah, like I needed to slow down. I was so tired, time to hibernate. So
Mhm.
much was coming at me that I needed the rest. I needed that hibernation period,
Yeah.
right? It was
Well,
very interesting. So,
yeah. But not to go deep in bear, but
yeah, no, go deep in
yeah,
bear. It's okay.
yeah. I just want to reel it back, and usually other people want to. John, we got to reel it back. So I'm going to take a moment and just say, when it comes to animals as well,
Mhm,
by studying them, you also see seasonal use of animal, right? So what medicine do they give you at what time of year? So you're not only connected
mhm.
just to animal, you're
That's
connected
right.
to the greater cycles that both you and animals share. Okay.
Yes.
You and plants share. So when you are wayfaring, when you are going through your journeying, dream journaling, meditation, whatever way that you're going deeper with the actual knowledge, the ones that you can see with eyes, and then the one that you can see with the third eye, there, you understand deeper pieces. Like
Mhm,
the reason why I'm Corvus is many reasons. One of them is because that is my men's circle name. So when I was initiated, I took the name Corvus. But Corvus is also has to do with the talking birds. It's my nature to talk a lot, as
mhm.
we've always known. Um,
And love.
but it's also it's also a slur sometimes to the Rromani and Sinti people. We were called crows
Hmm.
in that. So I take it as a mantle of pride. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you want to mess with an intelligent bird? Okay, game on.
Love it.
But it's also trickster medicine in a way that we can understand that we interact. It's one of the animals that we interact with quite often in an urban environment as well as in a rural environment. We see family connections, with it. So Corvus for me is not just my protector, a namesake. It's my animal friend and family. And when I meet other people that, I'm going to be this type of person, or I've given myself the name for it. I'm always curious about people that give themselves animal names.
Mm-hmm.
On many sides. I'm not saying that I'm going to judge a person. Heck, I got
Yeah.
an animal name, but I'm always curious if they actually take it from what level that they do it for, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah. So the name wasn't chosen accidentally. Let me put it to
Right.
you that way. For me, it was
Right.
done by a lot of work, a lot of meditation. And before I even met, the Niagara Pagan Men's Circle and the Dragon Ritual Drummers and so forth, I actually did, uh, animal guide workshops, and I took people into a safe environment. But I
Mm-hmm.
did have people do a 3-day water journey to find their animal.
Really?
Uh,
Wow.
I feel now that I have 20 odd years behind me since that, I know that that was a little bit exploitive, just a
How
touch.
so? How
And
so?
it wasn't intended to be exploitive, but I was using methods that were not necessarily taught deeply. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
But I did, and I also catered to people that had a bit more money than people that did not, right? For those journeys. Now we do a sliding scale to a lot of my workshops for it, but I used to be hard and fast by a rule, and that rule dictated me surviving or not. And now that
Yeah.
I'm in a comfort level, because of not only what I do, but also because of doing greater work, you receive greater rewards sometimes, even though they might not seem that way
Mm-hmm.
from day to day. But I'm in a comfortable part of my life now. I have wisdom. I have the ability to find wisdom, and I have the ability to dictate a lot more of my life than I used to. But I took a broker from Bay Street. So Bay Street in Canada is like Wall Street in the United States in that sense.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So Canada Stock Exchange, that goes on with it and all that. I took a couple of these business people to find their spirit animals, so their spirit guides or protectors or whatever way you want to word it back then. But it was a more shallow approach than I would now take for it. But years later, when I started dating my wife, we were walking down Bay Street, and this guy gave me $100 bill out of the blue. He literally walked up, and my wife thought it was some sort of rock star or something at the time. So, oh my God, people rip out money. But it's the same guy that I took on this spirit journey. Even though it wasn't deep, it was meaningful to him that he was earthworm. And he
Hmm.
figured out how earthworm works in the stock markets and that type of thing, which brings you sort of saying maybe I wasn't doing things as poorly as I thought.
Well, that's the thing. I've been thinking this entire time that I think you were working with the people you were meant to work, whether they have money or not have money,
Yeah,
they need that guidance of some sort. And I
yeah,
find it really cool that you brought up earthworm, because I find in the work that I do, when I do those kinds of animal journeys with people, that you say earthworm, or you bring up an instinct. I had stick bug yesterday in one of the guys, and she just looked at me like, what? What do you mean stick bug? Like everybody's expecting the wolf or the bear or
oh
the
yeah,
cougar or the dragon. And I remember even in my animal communications, my arrogance, I was expecting, we did a journey to find our guides. And it was really interesting because I was expecting, this big, beautiful, wolf to come around the
it
corner,
would.
or a lion or something. And it was a little ferret with a French accent. Mm. And and the reason for that was because I had a hard time at the time discerning voices. And the ferret was for humility because, I had an ego this
I don't know if Angel's still with us. But it's interesting that the ferret came up. Oh, here we go. I think she's coming back. So. Yeah, the accent and humility. Ferret. Do I have Angel back yet? I don't see her, but I can look at her. Look at the box. Hopefully it's nothing that happens with her phone, but if there's anyone in the comment section that would like to let me know if you can hear me or not, just write down yes. I keep seeing Angel pop up.
Okay. There I am. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
What happened?
So sorry. Are you there? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay, I can't hear you.
Oh.
Oh my goodness gracious. Somebody tried to, unfortunately, I'm just gonna hang on, hold on, just don't go anywhere. From a stage, and then we're gonna go back and we're gonna bring him back in. Okay. There, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. We have conquered technology.
Now
yes,
it's interesting.
We have.
Yeah, it's interesting that the ferret in the French accent was the last thing that you were talking about before it got cacked.
Yes. I know, right? The ferret's going, I don't want to be talked about. But it's true. It was all about ego at the time, right? And this ferret was all about humility. And as soon as it cut out, I started getting like really freaky. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And that gives you this. If none of you have ever been in the media, there is nothing more humbling than when you have something you spontaneously have to fix because it gets you out of your head into your body. And you're just like every ounce of ego, every ounce of vulnerability comes out. Like, so I do find that particularly ironic.
So thanks to the mighty ferret of the urban family. So,
right.
Yeah.
Whose name was Franz. Whose name was Franz, by the way. So as we were talking, though, it's that we don't give credence sometimes to those smaller animals or those less. We don't value the little things. The earthworm who is so powerful.
Yeah, exactly. And is the first one okay in many different cultures? And that's the other thing. I don't stick to one specific culture because I believe in different takes from world mythologies, right? From that. So I always try to look a little deeper for it, and I let those that are the guardians or the gatekeepers of those traditions let me tell me things. I don't tell, which I've had a lot of people tell me things about my traditions that I went, oh, you read that from that book. How do you know? It's like, oh, that's very unique to that book.
That's right.
Yeah, because it's not real in the sense of culturally, it's someone's take on a culture. And they might be an insider. They might be genetically an insider, but they actually haven't trained, right? So they hear it from their great aunt or their great uncle or their cousin twice removed or that type of thing. This is the way it works, but they haven't actually tested it. and
Yeah.
you must test everything, including your faith, like gold over a candle flame. You must
Love it.
test it to see it's
Yeah.
true.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's just
Information. It's
yep,
academic.
yep,
Yeah, it's academic. It's the armchair wizard, so to speak, right?
yep,
And I think that that's very, very true. I find that people who begin to work with animal spirits and animal guides and guardians and working on the path of animal symbolism, at first they find it very shocking because it touches such a primal part of who we are. I had this girl once in a class, we did a class, and she began to work with her medicine, which was turtle. And it literally messed her up for
yep.
weeks because of the transformation that she went through. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's not for the weak.
Mm, yeah.
uh, just you have, this is the two sides. Okay, the one side is, I know through seeing many in the community that have come up and have crashed down.
Mhm.
Um, it's not only hubris, sometimes it's the amount of data. When you ask for something, be ready to receive it.
That's right.
Um, and you have to be grounded, right? So that's why a lot of stuff is done by meditation, dream work, having someone shadow you when you're doing experiences in that. It's not for just individual practice, it's for
Mm,
community dynamic practice. So
mhm.
that's why I love about things like Conjure Camp, what I love about having those community based learning pieces. I really enjoyed doing peyote work. I know that sounds kind of weird, but
What work? Sorry, what work?
peyote. I only did
Oh,
it.
peyote, peyote. Okay, yes.
Yeah, I've only done the peyote experience once, and that's all I
Hmm.
ever need. Okay, for it. But that experience about having a lodge, having preparation,
Hmm.
having the moment of ingestion, having the experience, and having someone that is walking with you that's not doing the experience right now. They're just there for your survival, and that you don't walk off a mesa because everything looks very different for it. So, and then the aftermath of that. Same thing when I did the San Pedro cactus. And to be
Mm.
honest with you, just for everyone that's listening, I'm pretty straight laced when it comes to things. I don't do recreational
Yeah.
things. I might have a cigar, but
Yeah.
my main liquids and my main medicines are coffee. But you can't see it. But coffee, some chocolate, some good food, beer on occasion. But I'm not into
The
heavy
medicines, heavy
drug
medicines.
use.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
like even the um,
Ayahuasca.
the ayahuasca. I know a person that does ayahuasca as an administrator in Montreal, and he does ayahuasca journeys and that. And but I'm not. I believe that the human spirit sometimes needs a nudge, but I don't
Hmm.
believe that you need a repeated nudge. And if you need a repeated nudge of hallucinogenics and so forth, even though I do have a copy of Plant of the Gods, which is great for talking about those types of things, and I believe that there is a place
Yes.
for that. I don't believe that you need to do it daily. Okay.
Yes.
Uh, just like I know a Rastafarian priest, and when I talk about ganja with him, the Jah, all right, and that journey, he doesn't smoke as much as some of my friends do about it because he believes
Yeah.
it's sacred enough that he wants to do the journey.
That's right. It's ceremonial.
Yeah, it's that piece. So when I'm talking about having community use of things, I'm talking about that as a whole
Yes.
piece. Just
Yes.
want to say it's not
Yes.
just because, but
No,
those
no,
were
of
the,
course.
yeah, those were the two most moving uh, times of community work outside of doing, festivals and doing our conjure camps and our medicine camps and things of that nature. Those were the holistic piece. So when you deal with animal medicine and you're getting messed up, it could be that if you're actually doing animal medicine, it's that transformation, right?
That's right. The realignment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're going into one
absolutely.
phase, the pulpa phase, right?
Yes, yes.
And you're transforming. So of course you're going to be.
That's scary for a lot of people. That's
Yeah.
very scary,
Yeah.
because it means you have to let go, right? And let the gods. And that's a really terrifying thing, especially trail medicine. It's such a huge symbolism, such a huge transformation. It's such a
Oh, yeah.
beautiful one as well. Speaking of which, I have a question for you. I've actually always wanted to ask you this question. What animal? Yeah, yeah. Do do do. What animal has affected your life the most? Like, what animal medicine would you say has affected your life the most? No! Oh my God, he froze. How the timing today. Okay, you know what, people? This is the Driscoll Hotel. This is the ghosts are messing with us.
Don't worry. I just paused.
It's the ghosts. They're messing with us.
I was about to
Yeah,
say.
you just paused.
It could be that.
It could be. It could be.
It could be
so
that.
you were going to say.
I was going to say, but it could also be trickster because my animal is a trickster. So, yeah. Well,
is it Corvus? Is it the raven? Is it the crow that would say you've affected your life the most, or are there others who have affected you deeply?
Well, they affect me on an everyday level now, but they affected me at a transformational level when I first started working with them. But horse is one that affects me quite often as well, because to have horse is not only to know freedom, but also know companionship and to know your role is a balanced one. And it has to be carefully balanced, because some believe that a horse is an accessory. When you're riding a horse, and you find out fast once you start actually working with horses, who's in charge and who you find it really fast once there's I love Black Beauty and I want to ride a pony and a lot of things that come of that nature. But when you're really there with a horse and you're looking up at the horse, because unless you're doing miniature ponies and small, smaller dwarfish type of things, you're looking up at a horse unless you're over 6 feet, way over 6 feet. That's massive power. That's massive drive. That's energy. And and the ancestors used the horse to get many things done. That's why the car has horsepower. Okay. That's how we gauge not only speed, but the power of speed.
Well, even mythologically, right? I mean, the horse is a liminal being. That power that we see in our physical world, we see in the other world as well, right? You look at the Pegasus. Yeah, you look at the Pegasus. You look at Odin's 6-legged horse, right? That horse is that's beautiful.
So for those that are on radio,
right?
I'm holding up half of a horse's jaw bottom, right? With all but one tooth still in it.
Is that how? Yeah.
Right. That's how I communicate. I'm not doing it just for giggles for radio right now, but because we're talking about horse, I want to respect and honor anything that is around me right now of the horse nature. Okay, so I don't want the screen to get messed up like it has been when we talk about other animals and so forth. I want to say, hi, you're respected. You just don't mess up.
We're acknowledging you. That's right. We're acknowledging. We're acknowledging. So have you ever found with horse medicine. So for me, horse is also the healer communicator. I've always said that the horse is for the earth what the dolphin is for the ocean. So the horse is the communicator. The horse is the healer. The horse is a high medicine, and it's very very parallel to the dolphin, only for the earth, right? So when you're shaking that, I could feel that inside of me. And I love that. And when we sit on top of the horse, and like you said, you fast see who's in charge and you decide to let go and become one with that horse, the healing. And we do, right? We use horses in therapy. We see that all the time with kids who are either behavioral or kids who have disabilities or what have you. So I think that when it comes to the horse, it's such a rich symbol, and I see how that can affect you particularly every day in helping you communicate those
Yep.
healings.
Yep. Horse and rider. I love, again, I love mass media when it comes to it. I love making those cultural references and so forth. But it is Year of the Horse. You're right.
Yes, it is. That's
Yeah.
right, Christy.
I,
It
I love
is.
I love putting things into perspective, right?
Yeah.
I love blending pieces with respect, right? When you're doing a concoction, when you're doing a potion, when you're doing a good cocktail, you have to put the right portion of things in for it to work. Otherwise, it's a hideous thing. It's a poison that's not meant to be a poison, or just tastes bad, or does it work, right? So when we bring in this energy, like for Kali Sarah this year, we did Almighty Horse. That was what it translated to. So we brought the Year of the Horse, which is a double fire horse year when it comes to Chinese or Lunar New Year astrology, depending on if you want to call it Chinese New Year or if you want to honor that there are other cultures that also use the 12 animal system for it. Whatever way you want to do it, I'll let your listeners decide which way they want it. But it could be either way, and it's all cool. But with the fire horse, with the Rromani connection to horse, to understand that you have to have work and use and blend between it's now your time to work, it's now my time to work, right? And just the everyday communication, right? Of horse and rider, of traveling, of radio, right? Where we get radio from, right, is that riding the sound waves, going through this piece. And horses have been part of many people's culture for hundreds, thousands of years.
That's right.
There's a book literally written all about the axle age and the introduction of the domestication of the horse, and how a horse that's too domesticated, you need to have the fiery independence order for it to work. So when you get something that's too broken, it's hard to fix other people with tools that are too broken.
Right.
So same thing with horse medicine. If you try to subject it, if you try to dull it down just for popular consumption, it's not going to work as well as you going, okay, this is going to be a wicked ride. I got to hold on. I got to ask. I got to let go. But I also have to have some control. And that is when it comes to animal medicine as well. We have to understand that we have to take control of our bodies sometimes too, and not be totally within that, because you live in a real world.
Yes. 1 foot here, 1 foot there.
You got it. You
1 foot here, 1 foot there.
Yep.
That's right. I agree with you. And it's so easy to get lost in the spirit world. It really truly is. And I think that that's a really important learning for anybody out there listening who's beginning on this path, that it can be more fun and more enriching and fulfilling to be on the spirit world. But remember that your human self, that foot that stays here, is not only important, but it can be made fun as well. It can be fulfilling. It can be very enriching. And animals can actually lead you to that beautiful balance if you work with them well, right?
Yep.
And I think you're so very right. What for me, when we're looking within to look for those animals, we're looking at our primal self to say, where can we balance that? Like, I love yesterday, I had this woman and I was doing readings at the Paracon, and her spirit animal came up. And for me particularly, I don't know why this is a symbol for this. I've never actually analytically researched it. But the rhinoceros for me is always a symbol of military law, police officers, all of those people. And I said to her, I said, have you ever considered becoming a police officer or working within law? And she said, yeah. She goes, I actually wanted to be a police officer and wanted to be a paramedic. And I said, but why didn't you? And she goes, well, she goes, I was too scared to do it. Right. And I said, well, you have the rhinoceros. And she goes, do you know, I've been feeling really empty lately. And I turned to her and I said, well, maybe you want to consider, volunteering or doing something that is connected to somehow, rescue hero, rescue, research and rescue, or just doing things, or even just going to schools and talking about this kind of stuff to bring forward the rhino. And then I found out later that she's actually a meditation teacher. So I said to her and I said, okay, why don't you go journey with the rhino? And why don't you let the rhino tell you what to do?
Ah.
Right?
So yeah, the rhino
To find that balance.
The rhino is interesting. And
yeah,
it also brings us to the liminal space, right? Of geographic.
Oh dear. Okay, we're having a few technical issues today, but it's okay because he's returned to us many times, and I am sure he will return again. Ah, there you are. We missed that little section. Can you maybe reiterate that? And then Christy has a question. I don't want to lose that.
Yeah. The rhino and having that spiritual geography versus physical geography moment. The rhino itself is something that we don't normally see in a North American environment unless it's in a zoo or a reserve of that nature. But spiritual geography has a way of us having that interconnection between animals that are not physically beside us, but are spiritually connected.
A part of us, yes.
Yeah. So real quick, because I wanted to make sure we get it there. So books like Ted Andrews' series.
Well, we have an hour and a half. We still have plenty of time.
What, this before we get caught up in a whole bunch of other questions.
Oh, okay. Go.
You said references. What beginners can start with, right? Steve Farmer does a great work that's reachable. Ted Andrews has a great work.
Ted Andrews is it's a Bible as far as I'm concerned. Ted Andrews' book, Steve Farmer, they're fantastic.
Those are great primers to starting your own journey with them. There's also Spirit of Animal, which is done by a Australian medicine teacher. And The Encounters of Dreamtime is the other one that I really enjoy from there. There's a couple of South American ones. Funny enough, all my library of animal medicine is downstairs. I'm in my old room and I don't usually have a lot of
That's okay. Nature, but there's another one that I really like called Animal Dreaming. Again, from an Australian author who escapes me right now. But what I will do is I will put those references in the YouTube section below after the show if anybody wants to take a look at it. Christy has a great question for you. Why is the Chinese New Year involved so much with animals, and the fact that this year is not only the year of the horse, but the year of the fire? So let's tackle that first part. Why is Chinese? Why animals? Why animals? And why is it the year of fire? Yeah.
Okay. Animals first.
Okay.
Depending on which, I believe in mythic truth for anyone that's listening. So mythic truth goes by this premise, right? As long as you're true to the myth, it doesn't matter the finer details, right? So as long as you honor the myth or the focus of that myth truly, it doesn't matter the details, whether it is, in this case, the golden emperor or the yellow emperor asking for the animals to come forward, or Gautama Buddha that is asking them to come forward, or another person from the heavenly courts, or the 9 stars. It doesn't matter who asked for the calling, but it is in order for celebration that all animals, including humans, were called forth to do the great race. Okay. It's not the amazing race. It's even better than that. It is the way that we got to be a part of knowing the year, but the animals themselves may also be part of tribes, right? We know for a fact that there was a snake culture in the larger Chinese area of the time being.
That's right.
We also know that
so they were representative of the tribes.
Yeah. So we don't know really and truly why, but there's 5 or 6 different ways. One of them is that they represent 12 major tribes that came forth to unite a larger area, whether it's the China that we know now or something bigger or smaller. So Horse could be people of the horses.
Of that tribe. Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, and the dialects, because some dialects sound a bit more sharp in tonality, some are softer. If you listen to animals speaking, some are sharp, some are softer in that. So the reason why the animals came in, there's only 12, is because they had a time limit. And in that time limit, they had to get to him, Buddha, Yellow Emperor, whoever it was, within that time frame. So some of them didn't make it on time, but they still did the race. And there's that cat and dog thing that happens for it. Some of the animals that we use in the larger common Lunar New Year are different animals depending regionally. Like the rooster could also be phoenix, for instance, of that piece. So the animals are representative of the 12 stations of Jupiter, a 12-year cycle of Jupiter being in our stars from Earth. Okay. So those are the 12 houses that some people take into the mindset of that, and the rotation in a 60-year cycle. So there's 5 elements plus 12 animals that makes a 60-year cycle. And there's even a greater cycle on that. But going back to that piece real quick, that is why it's a double fire year, is because fire is the dominant element of Horse, because each of them has a natural element to them that they're akin to, right? Plus, there is that cyclical one that sort of like combination lock, when you have to go 6 to the left, 12 to the right. So we're unlocking that piece to ourselves and our relationship with the greater being.
Not to mention that this year has been a very, very big year in astrology for Jupiter's placements.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's been huge, especially at the beginning of the year. So that actually makes sense because that horse is riding along that Jupiter line, so to speak.
Yeah. Danielle, I just
Oh,
wanted
Danielle,
to
Danielle,
acknowledge your
Danielle.
comment.
Okay, let's show that
I
on
know it's
stage. Yes,
very late.
yes.
Yeah.
I know this is very late. The book series, His Dark Materials, when you were talking about the demons, when they were trying to sever them from, sever them from the kids, was heartbreaking. And what it feels like when you lose a pet was the next part of the
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah. So yeah, I
I
totally
haven't read the series, so I don't know. So you can speak to this for sure.
it's great. It's very. I'm going to say that there is a very churchy piece to it. There's not love for organized religion in it, and the witches are awesome in it. Different piece. I love it. I think it's great. Do I think it's something that I take spiritually? Not really. But I love reflecting upon how myth nowadays is our graphic novels. It's
Hmm.
our main stage literature. And Tolkien, who we do with the Lord of the Rings and so forth, took a lot of myth and interwoven it into what we now call one of the first major fantasy novels that we have, right? So
Right.
doing that type of thing, I highly recommend the book for
And
that.
for those who have just joined us, which book are you talking of? Speaking
Yeah,
of.
for his Dark Materials. The first one was The Golden Compass. If you
Okay.
must see a movie or a
Oh, I
visual
know. Yeah, I do
piece
know the
to it,
movie. Yes.
yeah, if you must
Yes.
see it, don't see that movie. Actually, see
Oh.
the TV series, His Dark Materials.
Oh, there's a TV series. I did not know that.
It's great in parts and
Yeah.
heinous in others, but there's also even better than that, the radio production of it. The radio
Wow.
production. So just like your podcast people are listening via radio, take the radio side. It leaves more to the imagination. You
Yeah.
feel the elemental piece to it, and
Okay.
you'll Yorick Bjornsson, which is a Pensa Baron. I know I just slaughtered that because sometimes I do that, but yeah, Pensa Bjorn, that's it. Armored Bear. He's a main character in it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And I actually find that a guide to how we
Oh, okay. Wait. People, just be patient. Be patient. He always leaves us on a cliffhanger, but he is coming right back. He's just frozen. For those of you
interact
who are
when we've got
listening,
major spiral mode. Spiral mode.
okay, you might want to say that again. Yeah, you might want to say that again just simply because you froze. So we apologize.
Yeah, I know. Spiral mode.
Yeah.
When I see that turning of it. But each of those characters, those main characters, see spirituality in a different way. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I take from it. I don't take a lot of the other stuff, but it does have a commentary on how people and animals choose one another. And when
Oh,
you have a
really?
primary, yeah, when you have a primary animal that speaks to you, it might not be the only one that speaks to you, right?
Hmm.
For the interaction between an animal, your initial interaction, it might not be the one that always stays with you. You just might
Yeah.
need their medicine, and they might need to assist you for a time before they go and do other
Yeah,
things.
that's the animal energy that works with us. We talk about that, right?
Yeah,
So we have these animal energies that work with us from different phases of our lives. And
yeah,
once they've worked with us, not that you can't work with them any other time, but if they've actually physically worked with us in a phase, they now become part of your tool case. They become a part of who you are, right? And these are the fascinating ones because if one person is going through pregnancy and they need the owl for the wisdom of pregnancy, and another person might be, the the I don't know, the seagull, because they have to go beyond their limitation of self in order to understand what motherhood is, right?
Yeah.
So just because you know, a person has a symbol working with them in a different phase of their lives, these animal energies, doesn't always have to be the same ones either, right? But
Yep.
these animal energies are really, really important, and it speaks to our sense of spirituality at that moment.
Yep. Like beaver was major in my life for a long while. So Amik,
Mm.
beaver piece. I used to live near in Toronto of all places. There was a beaver lodge.
Oh,
And
in Toronto?
yeah, I know that blows
Wow.
people's minds, but I have photographic evidence. I've brought people to it. It was
Wow. Are
fantastic.
you
It's
sure it wasn't some sort of cryptid? Like, are you sure?
nope. It is
Hmm.
by so Toronto Parks and Rec, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Parks and Conservation. Sorry, was trying to blow up the beaver dams that they were doing
Mm-hmm.
for years. It's in a tropical lake shore. So you would go to, um,
Oh, I remember this.
yeah. So there used to be a hotel called the Casa Mendoza
Mm-hmm.
on the strip of Lakeshore Boulevard West. Right now, there's a string of condos that's there. If you go far enough back, you'll see the guardians, which are these iron crows
Mm-hmm.
around this area with a butterfly house. And if you walked back through and over, you're going to see, if it's still there, I haven't visited them in 5 years, but they were going strong 5 years ago. There's a beaver lodge
Yeah. Yeah.
that is set to the Stormbreak Islands. The artificial islands are there. One of the larger stone break islands for the waves and so forth.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
one side of it is built a lodge.
Yeah.
And they knew, the beavers figured out that they can't build their dam over top the water line too early, otherwise conservation gets to blow it up. But if
Brilliant.
you do it late in October to November, it's
Nobody
too
can
late
bother
for
you.
them to blow it up. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah. That's
that's what they
brilliant.
would do. And so in the wintertime, I would always sit back, have a cigar late at night, especially with a full moon, and I would sit and watch, because the other thing is beavers, though you do see them during the day working and so forth, a lot of beavers will come out at night, and they're party
Mhm.
animals, right? Because that's
Yes.
that's when you have mink and marten and weasel and a few other animals that, especially in wintertime, go to the lodge. And
Yeah.
indigenous wisdom would say in their teachings and that beaver celebrates in its lodge in winter with other animals. And a lot of scientists, well, yeah, that sounds weird, that's BS, everything. But then they did a lodge cam. They actually put a camera into a beaver lodge, and sure enough,
There were other animals.
other animals
Yeah.
shared it in the wintertime. And it's because they bring dry twigs, while
Yeah.
beavers have their refrigerator of the tree that they just cut down stuck into the mud at the very bottom to keep fresh leaves and so forth. So in exchange for the dry area where these animals can go faster than beaver on land, because beavers tend to waddle, they're not extremely fast on land,
No, they're
not as,
not.
yeah, not as fast as mink or marten. Um, so when they're going boop, 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 back and forth, getting all the stuff from the area, they get a little share of the refrigerator that beaver can provide, right? And lodging, of course.
And
So
I think that's why we consider beaver the symbol of not only the builder, but the home,
yeah,
right? And I think
yeah.
that's really, really important. They're beautiful. Now, we have a really cool quick question here. Any tips for working with animals that scare or disgust us? Okay, I'm going to take that one first because yours is going to be like way more intelligent.
Oh, none.
Mine always comes from a place of innocence and childlike wonder, whereas yours comes from this brilliant academic, almost King Solomon, like, this is how I see you, okay? Deal with it. Oh, your
Okay,
wife is
okay,
gonna
okay,
kill
okay.
me. Your
I'll
wife
take
is gonna kill me. She's gonna be like,
but please go.
okay,
Please
so
go ahead.
okay, so for me, when I find people who will turn around, I'll say, okay, well, your cat medicine, or you need the cat medicine. They go, oh my God, I hate cats, so I can't stand it, or snakes scare me, or spiders scare me. It's because you're resisting that medicine. It's because they have something to offer you. It's what you need to work on. So let's take a very simple one like the cat. The cat is our own seductiveness. It's about intuition. It's night medicine. It's all of these different things. And sometimes, a lot of times, we forget to work with our intuition. The ones that I find really are resistant to cat are very analytical, usually scientists, engineers. Oh, I don't like cats. I'm allergic to cats. I knew a man who was allergic to cats who ended up living with a cat. In a year, they were gone. All of his allergies were gone. But I found it interesting too that over that year, when as soon as the cat moved in, all of a sudden he has urge to work on his spirituality, his intuition, his this, his that. And he became really in tune with that. And as he became in tune with that, the allergies went away.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I that is great. I love when it comes to there's the academic and the practicum, right? You
Mm,
need both. You need to have knowledge, but you also need
yeah.
to have experience, right? Or that way of grounding it so you can work every day with it, right?
Yeah.
There's higher magic, for instance. I don't like high and low type of thing, but the way that people have it in mind is
Yeah.
it's learned. But I beg to differ when I meet masters, and I mean masters of their own reality constructs that don't read and have the tablecloth of a certain length and have to have these
Right.
magic
The
tools.
circle has to be a certain thing and it has to be a particular, yes, yes.
It
Yep.
does work for that magic system. Don't get me
Hmm,
wrong.
hmm.
So for
Yeah,
that
yeah.
magical system, works great. But for magic systems as they go, some people experience different ways of functionality
Mhm.
and that interconnectedness of being that we were talking about before, how to tap that a cosmic electric socket, right? To have that current, that drive, that
Yeah.
peace, right? So the cat for you, as a discuss, which I don't normally hear disgusting animals as a cat, but I could
Yeah.
see the
I
allergy
do.
thing going on. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 You work with you do this as one of your main pieces, Angel. So
Yeah.
talking about that, I don't doubt you. That's an amazing piece. I've never really thought of cat
Yeah.
in that
Oh yeah. Yeah.
idea
People
before.
can't, I
Standard,
know
yeah,
people who won't be in the same room with cats.
yeah, I do too. But I
Yeah.
never really thought that
Of
way.
that perspective. Yeah. 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 Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. For me, and I think that's one of the reasons I always say that, if you're resistant to an animal, find the animals you're
yeah,
resistant to, find out what their symbolism is. And
yeah,
that's what you need to work on within.
yeah, yeah. So I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. I had a guy that hated wolves. I know everyone's, oh my God, I hate wolves. But he had
What just happened? Oh, you froze again. Oh my goodness gracious me, oh my, oh. Okay, we're just gonna wait a little bit because I know it's gonna bring him
a
back.
miserable environment.
There we
Just
go.
have to wait. We're
Does it swirl
back.
for
We're
you?
back.
Okay, I didn't know it swirled for you. Okay.
It
That's
swirls for me. It's like,
psychedelic.
okay, that's kind of cool. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this every
You go
time that
like
I get
this.
cut off.
For those listening, we're
Ooh.
making swirly motions with our hands.
Yes. Yes. So back to that. So I had someone that was in a rural environment and wolves, and
Hmm.
he was resistant of it. He goes, no, no, dog's my animal. I said, yeah, but there's more to it. I think that you should really look to teach your wolf. He goes, no, wolves are a burden. They're rarely a burden. People don't
Hmm.
understand what wolf activity is. And
No, they
of
do
all
not.
people, for and complicated man he was, Farley Mowat actually got it pretty well right. I loved his work on that. But one night, full moon, there was a wolf howling. He grabbed his shotgun, this guy. They're on my property. I can hear them. It's like, but are they? Because you're in a rural environment. There's a forest over that way. Okay, go at you, right? But in my mind, this is what's playing in my mind. It's like, really? Okay, go at you. But anyways, here's the story. He goes for them, and he can see that they're on the edge of his property, and he's about to use his gun, and he trips over a root. The gun goes flying over there, and of course, that's when the wolf pack started coming near him.
That's right.
Once the gun is away, and it was so funny because I said, "Oh, so what did you learn?" He goes, "Well, the wolf came by, and I was freaking out. I couldn't run because I hurt my leg and type of thing." I said, "So what happened next?" Knowing the answer already, because I could
Yeah.
you could
You
sort of
just
taste the
sense it.
answer
Yeah,
to
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right.
So peed on him. Yeah, the wolf peed on the guy and then proceeded to go away. I said, "Do you know what that means?" And he goes, "I'm starting to figure it out." I said, "Yeah, you've been marked, buddy. Like,
Yep.
and you're
That's
not marked
right.
as alpha anymore. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not the prime here.
Yeah.
You got peed on, and it probably was the alpha that peed on you, maybe to do it, but you got peed on by them saying,
Regardless,
no, no,
you're on that. Yeah, you're on that part of the hierarchy now.
yeah,
You have just been
you're
demoted.
yeah, yeah, you're not as big as you are. Maybe you should learn some humility
Mm.
alongside that teaching as well. And
Hmm.
8 years later, part of the pagan community, he now knows a little bit more, and he knows better. He used to have wolf as one of his names, having to do with wolf anger,
Right.
I'm wolf killer
Yeah.
type of thing. But now does he even use wolf in any of his name pieces because he knows better now.
Yeah.
So what
Do you
disgusts
know
you, what frightens you, is sometimes the
the medicine
medicine
you
that you
need?
need most. Yeah.
That's right. I agree. And it's very interesting you use wolf because recently, and we have a gentleman who's coming on who lives with a wolf. He's got a 90% wolf. And I've been around this wolf and I have watched her sleep. So for me, the learning with wolf is, all the conditioning that we have is not necessarily truth because I see these beautiful, wonderful, wolves are mystical and they're gorgeous and they're elegant. And when they sleep in these little balls and their beautiful faces. Yeah, this one, I'm sitting there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You already know where this is going.
Go for it.
This one, Tria, she will literally be on her back, legs up, tongue on the side. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, what kind of wolf are you exactly? Like exactly, really? So animals have so much to teach us. And you know what's really funny? I had an aversion to wolves. I was just like, it's so, stories are so oversaturated with it and, werewolves and what wolves are. It just became too campy almost for me. And then I started to get to know this particular animal and I'm like, wow, this is such a uniquely different view, right? I'm seeing it from a different perspective. And it was so wonderful. And in knowing this animal and studying this animal, and again, that goes right back to the beginning of our show,
Yeah.
really looking at the animal for what they are, not what we perceive them to be, is a medicine of its own. I met a ruggaroo last night in New
Oh,
Orleans. Very interesting. I walked into the Paracon
yeah.
and this gentleman was there. And right away, I'm like, there's something about him. And his energy just kind of stuck with me, right? And I thought, what is he? What is he? Because he's not human, this guy. And then last night, I was sitting in a ritual, our final ritual, which was absolutely beautiful. And it was and I hope I'm saying this right, Bulbansha. She is the spirit queen of New Orleans, and she's a beautiful, beautiful story behind her.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, he was standing behind me, and as Father Sebastian was introducing everyone, he got to this gentleman and he introduced him as a Ruggaroo. And I went, of course you are. And everyone's looking at me because they knew I was the animal communicator. And I looked at him and like, it's been bothering me this entire weekend, right? And it's so beautiful when you're in the presence
Yep.
of the animal energy. You know, it's so beautiful. So going back to that question of how do you get past the animals that disgust you or scare you, be in the presence of them,
Yep.
right? And it doesn't even mean physically, you can go and journey with them, right?
Yeah. So with things that frighten you, like the wolf or the snake or things of that nature, it's a test as well to see if not the confidence, but the fortitude, whether it's mental, spiritual, physical fortitude to endure
Mm-hmm.
that type of thing. So when you're scared, it's a primal response. Disgust is also it's called a para response, which is it is still a baseline response to prevent you from getting poisoned. So
Mm.
to be disgusted,
It's your
in
brain protecting you.
is your brain protecting you from a possible poisoning or
Hmm.
something that will misalign with you. So it's to slow you down from medicine sometimes. Okay.
Right.
So if you're disgusted by an animal, it means for you to slow down and ingest. Okay. So
Interesting.
don't take a little bit of research, say why. Ask yourself the questions. When you're frightened by an animal, you also ask why, but you must embrace, okay, for strength, right? Even if it's not your animal, okay? And this goes back to the wolf again in a different story. When you take on a name and when you say, oh, yeah, I work with wolves or I work with, ravens, you work with snakes, I work with dragons, whatever it is in your mind that you're saying it, that's spouting out of your mouth, put truth behind it. If you're not putting truth behind it,
Yeah.
they can screw you up. So if you, for instance, in this case, was a guy that, oh yeah, I'm wolf, I am kin to wolf. Coyote is in the background. Coyote is actually
Right.
Coyote is actually his spirit animal. You can see it, you can
Yeah.
smell it, and a smell of a coyote is very different than the musk of a wolf. Coyote musk is very different.
Mhm.
Different things. And yes, there are coy wolves, there are hybrids and rarities. Okay. But when situation for survival comes in, you need all the gangs you get. But Coyote gets really annoyed when you are trying to steal his cred.
Yeah.
So mental health
Yep.
issues came in. The dude that was Wolf wasn't really Wolf, and he ended up really messed up for many reasons. But
Yeah.
um,
Okay, so I have another question because we don't have a lot of time, but this one's really important. From your perspective, how do we recognize the animals that want to work with us? How do we recognize, we were talking about animal energies in different phases of our lives. How can we recognize which animal energies and spirits in, different phases of our lives are coming to us? How do we see that? How do we not miss it?
yeah. Well, be observant.
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you have to go out to the fields or things like that. And we've
No, but
always
wait, I
time
gotta
to
I gotta stop you. You said it and it was so be observant. And
yeah,
sometimes it really is that simplistic.
yeah.
We say kind of tongue in cheek, but it is that simplistic. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I want to
No,
make that
it
point.
was it was it was half tongue in cheek and but half real.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the forest to be observant for it, or to the zoo even, or anything of that nature. Um, when you're flipping through the TV set, because some of us do that, okay? We have something in the background. and there always seems to be something on. Next thing, a documentary on the Komodo dragon. Stay tuned. Oh, I don't want to watch that.
Ah, okay, we froze. He always freezes at the most interesting point in what he's about to say.
Click,
Have you
click,
guys
click.
noticed that?
Komodo.
we're doing our
Komodo
motion.
Auto, right? Like.
Oh God.
Then you watch.
So you were
Then you
saying
watch
about the
these.
Komodo dragon.
Yeah. So you have Komodo dragon. That's a documentary saying none of that. It was just channel surfing thing. Go ahead, disrespect that. I see an ad for Komodo TV, right? Type of thing, or Komodo
Right.
audio.
It keeps coming up. That's
keeps
right.
coming up. You see the Bond movie that has a Komodo dragon in it as one of their things, right? Maybe you should pause for a moment and say, hey, is Komodo dragon something there? Is it just unseemingly meaningful coincidence of some sort, or just your brain's picking up on static, right? So take a moment, cash it in. It only takes maybe 5 or 10 minutes of being calm to figuring it out. Not every animal wants to talk to you, okay? I mean that in the utmost respect. Animals have other things to do, spirits as well, but some of them are taking the time to talk to you, and if you keep ignoring them, you miss out on the opportunity. Will they be with you for a long time? Maybe not.
I usually see about a year or two. Depends. It
Yeah.
can be up to 2 years, because that's, a phase of transformation. It depends on your phase of transformation, right?
Yeah. And you won't have 18 animals all coming for your attention at once at your first time. Okay. Like, I don't care how powerful you are or anything of that nature. Animals take time.
Yes.
You
I agree.
right?
Yes, I agree. So Christy says, any advice for tapping into yours, especially since it's fire spirit animal during the year of the horse. So, to tap into this energy, how do we tap into this energy this year?
Okay. So tapping into your animal or your sign.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the horse specifically, if this was your fire year, or else you're talking about salamander or something other symbolically fire.
Yeah.
Symbolically fire. But let's just take the horse because it's the easiest one right now. It's the horse here. It's all about horse. And horse, I have my altar for horse right here. So, hi, horse. I just don't want the camera to mess up when we're talking about horse, because we're not honoring other spirits sometimes. Even though we're talking about them, we're not honoring them. I think that we're getting the spin whenever we hit.
Yeah, because we're not acknowledging it. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
That's what I think.
So we have a few minutes. We have about a minute or so.
The horse,
so how would we like to tap into that?
Yeah, meditative. Fire spirits. Look at a candle flame. Look, I have my candle flames. Those are actual candles, not just the little electric ones.
LED.
There. Focusing on the element itself, the environment itself, helps you connect. Okay? So you don't necessarily have to be petting the wolf to connect with wolf.
That's right.
But you can be in an environment that allows you to connect that way. If you don't have deep visualization skills, you can cultivate them through meditation and so forth. But if you need that little extra oomph, get into an environment that gets you connected to that understanding of it. So I'm not saying go into a fiery building. What I'm saying is okay. What I'm saying is there's a bonfire, a campfire.
Yeah.
Focus on pyromancy, the flames talking to you to get you into that area. If you need the element to be an intermediary to get you into the mood of connection, by all means.
Use it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
be
and use
light
it
with it.
for sure.
Thank
Thank you
you.
thank you so much for being here today. This has been absolutely joy, and we're definitely going to have you back because we have so many different topics we can talk about. And as we're talking, I'm going through all of them. Can you please let people know where they can find you? Because you're also an officiary, right? So
Yep.
where can people find you and find out more about you?
Yep. Okay, so on mainland social media right now, because I'm working on a website, but I don't have the website up and running as of yet. So uh, you can find me on Facebook. Look at my
Yep.
face. I usually don't have an anime figure or anything like that. It's usually just my face for it. And it's John Huslack, but you can type in John Corvus
And it will
and
still
I'll
come
pop
up.
up. Yeah, and I'll
Yeah.
pop up on Facebook. I'll pop on Instagram. I'm the original John Corvus as my
Nice.
Instagram handle. Um, I'm on All Seasons Weddings as John Huchuliak for it. If you just type in John Corvus Hamilton or John Corvus Dragon Ritual Drummers, because I'm part of them as well, and I'm honored to be. I usually pop up like in Google. It's hard to find me. It's hard not to find me, I should say,
Put
especially
in
if
John
you're
Corvus wherever you go, people, and you will find him. So,
usually, yeah, for job
usually.
interviews. It really annoys me because they know me exactly. So you do that type of thing,
Thank you.
right? So,
Thank you
so
so much, John. I'm looking forward to seeing you again, and I really, really appreciate you. And I know my viewers do. So we will see you soon. And until next we meet, my friend, at Conjure Camp, I believe. Can't wait to give you a hug. Okay.
yep.
All
May we
right. Talk
all
to you
learn a
soon.
lot. Take care.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy you all joined me today. Thank you so much. Zendragon 66461, I just wanted to acknowledge you, say hi. Yeah, Chameleon actually came to mind for me too. That's really funny. But Dragon's been coming up for me a lot lately. So thank you for being here today. Guys, thank you so much. And please join us next week. We are going into a replay because I'm going to be flying at the time that we're supposed to be doing a show. So we're going to have Jennifer Talley on again. And that is wild because she talks about New Orleans, witchcraft, vampirism, ruggaroos, all that kind of stuff. Really was such an amazing interview. I had to replay that again. So please join us next week. But for tonight, thank you, UPRN, Paranormal Radio, Gulf in the Gulf Coast, 105.3, and in New Orleans, my favorite town, 107.7. See you later, everybody, and I hope you have the best week ever.